so I knew him. And he was at one time was a mechanic for Bobby Unser's car, who pitted right next to us at Atlanta Speed. And we had talked several times. We saw him we went to all the IndyCar races. And got the crazy idea that I talked to him one day about building this thing.
Now, how did Tony Ferriola come into this? Did you?
We sold the car to Tony Ferriola.
Oh, you did? Okay. So
Grant wanted us to be the dealer here on the East Coast, and then that really wasn't my cup of tea. I had a construction business which kept me very busy. 110 employees, all like the race cars, family and all. And but we didn't do that. But that was our connection with Grant King, and I talked Tony into buying one. I thought I was going to be a dealer and make a lot of money, but that wasn't my thing, no.
Now the gremlin body, was that a Ferriola thing, or
No.
he?
We had the car long before Tony had the car.
The gremlin body?
The Grant King car. Grant King put the body on it. He had it.
Okay.
So that's where that came from. And when we talked to Grant about it, because we had to have a lot of input on what we wanted, because he had never built one at all. The only thing that was in discussion for a long period of time was the engine setback. Him and I had totally different ideas about, because when he talked about stock car, you know, even today, the asphalt stock cars, the engines are set much further forward, particularly in the late model cars. So that's where he was coming from. We didn't want it set forward. That was the biggest discussion we had. But the size and all the dimensions and all we gave. Matter of fact, Kenny went out there and helped finish one of the cars. I forget which one, the first one or the second one.
Now, is this like a hybrid of a sprint car? The idea is all involved with the car?
A lot of the things in this were on sprint cars.
I mean, torsion wasn't around. Was it leaf spring and coilovers mostly, or before you guys came in?
I got to go back to the first stock car we had. We bought from Bud Olson. Bud Olson had driven our Midget for several times, so he was a friend of mine. And we bought that car, and that had trailer bar suspension on it, which was, in my estimation, prehistoric, really. And Bud told me that he had built the car the year before and never won a race with it. Never been good enough to win a race. So when we got the car, he brought it up to us on a Sunday, him and Audrey, and they stayed Sunday, had lunch with us, hung around the swimming pool, and then they went home. And Monday we started working on the car. We got the whole front end up, not the chassis, but all the suspension up. And we were very friendly with Coney Shock Absorber Company. And they were prepared, and they made the springs that we needed, the size we needed, and they made the shocks we needed. And they had an engineer right there with us the whole time. And we cut all that trailer bar suspension off and put the coil springs on the front. Took the leaf springs out of the back, and a very good friend of mine worked for Stanley Tool Company. And he took the springs, and we took one or two leaves out, I forget which, because the car was hard as a rock. Well, all the stock cars were, and there wasn't much given them. And polished the leaf springs so they would just look like they were full plated. Lots of grease between them. Had it so I could push it up and down nice. And the rest is history. We went to Flemington, and we had an engine that Bud also told me was only worth $1,500, which it probably was. It was a 327. But across the street, you didn't need horsepower; you needed a handle.
Now there was a misconception that there was gobs of money in this car, and you had said during one of your guest speaker things that there wasn't. There was.
Well, I can tell you what we paid. I paid Bud Olson $5,500 for the car I bought from him. It was the first stock car. I had never, ever, ever seen a stock car race in my life. Never, until I came to Flemington the first time. I was at lots of tracks where they ran stock cars and we were running the midgets and the sprint cars. But I was busy doing my own thing and I didn't pay that much attention. And I read the racing papers all the time, so I knew the names. I knew a lot about it, but I never watched a featured stock car race in my life till I came here. But Olson, that car came with a trailer, new. It was a good trailer. $5,500. We eventually sold the car for $3,500 without an engine. We kept it, and Kenny ran it. Stanley ran it. Of course, then Kenny ran it as a sports car. And then we sold the car. And the Grand King cars, I don't remember what we paid for the first one. The first one was successful, but no more successful than the little car that we built and designed ourselves that had the little roof rack on it. That car was better than the Grand King car.
What kind of car was that?
Yeah, we built it ourselves.
Oh, did you?
Bobby Roswell built the frame. We had a plan, regular plan, and a blueprint, and he built it from that. He built one for himself. And that's the car that went to Trenton to run the alcohol water race when they ran the special race at Trenton Speedway when Indy cars were there. You said you were there. And our dirt car was the only car they invited, I don't know, a dozen cars to say that's what it was. And they ran a 20 or 25 lap stock car race. And Osmond blew all the asphalt cars that went with that car. And we took it from there, put dirt tires on, went to Windsor and won 100 lap race. That's it. We think that car handled better than any of them we ever had.
Really?
The Grand King cars, how expensive can you get? This piece of tubing costs you the same amount of money it costs Grand King or it costs Tony Ferriolo. Those guys at Indianapolis at Grand King shop, a lot of guys who want to be race car drivers could weld. They work for Grand King at night for nothing.
Yeah.
They come there and work 2
Jerry Weeks, a lot of those guys.
And
Yep.
Jerry Weeks was a super, he still is.
Yeah, I talked to him.
Yeah. Super guy would make anything. Anything at all. And they would go over there and work for nothing. So stuff was not expensive. It was not expensive. No. I don't remember what we paid for it.
I remember that, still do that.
Chassis with the rear end and everything.
Was it considered high dollar back then, though, or
No.
no?
Other guys were paying also more than that.
Really?
Well, Grand King at the time, the ones that we sold to Ferriolo was more expensive because Grand King wanted to get a car here that would do well. So it was kind of an advertisement for him. Because then he went down himself.
Is that why there's only like 13 that it stopped after he got in trouble, or?
Yeah, probably because he got mixed up with the Blues and the Harveys and those guys. Matter of fact, he built that one car for Phil Harvey who took it to Syracuse, and it was a blue 31.
I got that car.
You have that car?
Yeah.
Are you from Middletown?
Yeah,
Joe?
Gary.
Gary.
I'm Gary. Yeah, but
Okay.
Joe's my brother.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought I was going to get to buy that car from this guy at
Oh, Paul Fuchs?
Yeah. I was up there a couple of times.
Yeah. Yeah, he said you were.
Yeah. But that blue car, Grand King told me, he said, that car has nitrous oxide in it.
Yeah, right.
Which it did. We're down the backstretch, take his time trial, and you couldn't see the car, it was all smoke, it blew up. We put it in the oil tank outside and the tank
In
blew
the
up.
frame.
Yeah.
The fitting is still in the frame of the side of that tube in the frame. Because I thought, when I bought that, I thought I got screwed. And I talked to Anthony Ferriolo, because the way this bar goes into that 31 is different than this car and the other cars. And he said that one will go up and it'll bend. It's not mitered in like that.
Every car. The cars that we have are
Exactly.
different.
Exactly. That's just. And it was nostalgia night at Middletown 2 years ago, and I left there and went right to the shop that night and turned the lights on and looked at it. I have it up on a rack. I let it down off the rack to see, and it was right. And then somebody told me, because I asked, I said, there's a fitting on the side of the frame. I said, what they have a fitting in there? They said they run nitrous in it and they blew it up.
Blew up on the backstretch.
Yep, that's exactly the story I
Grand
heard.
King did that right in there. Oh, yeah. Any chance to get you to bring this to our car?
They don't do that.
No, I know.
When?
I don't see it.
September 11th. foreign cars. We have a big car.
All right, I got another show that I go to, but I'll see if I can get
Are you
out.
going to the Pocono show?
I didn't know there wasn't.
Got a minute?
Yeah.